Good morning, Mrs. Klumpching. I'm happy to finally meet you. May I ask you some questions about you as gallery owner?
Oh yes, absolutely.
So my first question is, where does the name Klomp originate? So where do you actually come from?
Well, Klomp is actually a Dutch surname, so it's my family name.
But where are you from? Are you from Netherlands?
My family are from the Netherlands, but they migrated to Australia. So I was born and raised in Australia. So I consider myself a Dutch Australian.
Ah, okay. So what led you then to New York and to become a gallerist?
I relocated to New York because I married an American, and I started the gallery in collaboration with my husband, Darren Ching, because it was a good time to change direction. I had already been working with photography for many years and had a desire and aspiration to own a gallery. So it seemed to be just very good timing to do that.
And why especially photography? Why are you so passionate about photography?
Well, photography is an area of the visual arts that I've specialized in for many years. So a long time ago, I did my undergraduate studies in photography, and I also did my Master of Arts in critical history and theory of photography. So it's an area of specialism that I already know. And of course, I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, okay. So what challenges do you face operating a gallery and what are your daily tasks?
Oh my gosh, that's that's like asking how long is a piece of string. The challenges of running a gallery are very much like the challenges that anyone who runs a small business is. I guess one of the key challenges is ensuring that you get information out to the right people to bring them to the gallery to see the artworks and then purchase those artworks. And part of that challenge, of course, is working with press and media so that those messages can be heard by the public that are beyond the gallery's own network. And then day to day, you know, it's everything. We're a two-person team, so you will find us doing, we do all the curation, we do the installing, we do all the marketing and the PR. We're there every day to open up the gallery and physically be there and welcome visitors to the gallery. And then everything else that one can imagine it relates to running a gallery, we basically do.
So it really sounds that you have pretty much to do. So in addition to owning and operating the gallery, you're a freelance consultant, a writer, curator, and educator. So how do you reconcile it without being overwhelmed?
Very careful time management. And also, you know, you have to learn to say no as well when it's appropriate, because if you take on too much, then as you indicate in your question, it can become too overwhelming. But time management is the key.
You also served as an international advisor to the executive director of Santa Fe, Center Santa Fe, and advisor to the Center for Fine Art Photography, Fort Collins. What is your favorite part of providing creative and professional advice to photographers and collectors?
Oh gosh, you know, those voluntary positions were quite some years ago. And one of the things that I enjoy about volunteering in that type of capacity is basically, I guess the way to explain it is you're giving forward, i.e. you're sharing your knowledge and your expertise with people who would benefit from it. So I think the joy of that is knowing that you're passing on knowledge. I don't sit on those panels anymore. They're very time limited, but I guess that's the joy that I get, is being able to share that expertise and knowledge.
So do you prefer anything of it, like the photographers, or giving advice to collectors, or is it just the same?
Oh, okay. So what I just said was in relation to sitting on as an advisor to those organizations. With regard to working with photographers, as a gallerist, I have a lot of artists approaching me, wanting to exhibit their work, wanting to be represented. And quite often there are some real rookie mistakes that are made, in that people approach me in a way that is sometimes unprofessional or they might approach me when they're clearly not ready to work with the gallery. So the consultancy I do with artists is really to empower and tool people up so that they can actually successfully approach a gallery, or if they have an opportunity to exhibit with a gallery, they know what they need to do to make that a successful partnership. I like to see people succeed in their careers, and I guess that's part of the passion behind working with photographers. I see so many people who have such huge talent, and they put a lot of time and energy into creating authorship in their work and to pursue like a vision in their photographic works. But sometimes the business side of it and the administration side of it isn't learned or is overlooked, and I like to help them with that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So in 2017, you founded the Rhonda Wilson Award to celebrate and support new talented photography. So where did this idea come from?
It grew from really two places. Firstly, we have at the gallery an annual open call where we present a summer exhibition each year in July and August. And we do an international open call for photographers. It's called the Fresh Annual Summer Exhibition. And we built in an award to that exhibition, partly to develop the show itself, but also the Rhonda Wilson Award grew out of wanting to create a legacy for Rhonda Wilson, OBE, who was a dear friend and a colleague in the photography sector. And she was very supportive of emerging photographers, helping them to get their first break in the industry. And so the award was set up in her name to be a legacy for her and to remember all that she did. So the award itself is also structured in a way that is consistent with the vision that she had in terms of the way that she supported people.
So you would say you're pretty inspired by her?
Yes, she was someone that I worked with for many years and was a very dear friend as well.
So do you have any other favorite artists of all time?
Favorite artists of all time? Oh my gosh. You know, well, all of the artists that I represent, of course, in terms of contemporary artists. But for myself personally, I was always very attracted to European photography from the interwar period. So a photographer that I greatly admired is Claude Cahun and the work that she did. And for many years, I was also a great admirer of the work of Robert Mapplethorpe. Today, I would say that photographers like Max d'Esteban, Helen Sear, who we represent, are photographers that I greatly admire. But as I say, there's quite a few, so it's difficult to kind of suggest one or two.
So, in what events or festivals do you participate, or did you participate like as a portfolio reviewer or judge for photography awards?
Okay, so we do attend a number of portfolio reviews. We normally give our time to one event each year. So we've attended pretty much all of the major portfolio reviews in the US, so Photolucida, PhotoFest. We have been to other festivals like Rhubarb in England when it was running. We've done reviews with the New York Times and Filter Photo Festival in Chicago. So they're really great events to attend because we get to see the photographer in person, which is always much better than communicating by email or video.
Yeah, so do you have a favorite one or some that you would recommend?
Yeah, I would say top of my list for the review festivals would certainly be PhotoFest and Photolucida. They're very well organized. They have slightly different personalities, but both of those are excellent, I think, for the photographers because they draw in a really good group of reviewers who are either holding senior positions in institutions or they are gallery owners. They deal with a lot of curators, picture editors and publishers. One of the things I like about both of those events as well is that there seems to be a very high level of camaraderie between the photographers that extends across years. And the same can be said for the camaraderie between the reviewers. So PhotoFest in particular is one that I enjoy going to in order that I can do a little business with the other reviewers while I'm there.
So do you have any special aspects that you look for when you look at the art of a photographer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for originality. I'm looking for intention. I'm looking for excellence in craftsmanship. And I'm also looking, as far as the photographer goes, for somebody who is serious about their artwork and are someone who will have projects to follow. So not someone who has made a one-off project and then may disappear. One of the important things for me as an art gallerist is to help my collectors build up a collection of photographs. And if they have a particular interest in a photographer, then it can be really great for the photographer, the collector, and myself if they become kind of like a patron of the photographer. So they continue to buy work as the photographer makes new pieces. So those are the things I'm looking for. And then also, in terms of the relationship between gallerist and artist, I'm looking for someone who is professional and serious about what they're doing, because you know, the success of the gallery and the success of the artist is dependent on professionalism.
Yeah, so do you also offer any photography workshops or other workshops?
Yeah, outside of the gallery, we do. We have we have a workshop called Working with Galleries, and that really came out of our art consulting with photographers. So it became apparent that a lot of photographers were asking the same questions, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And so the workshop was developed to answer those questions and deliver that information in a group setting. We have since developed that in a number of iterations. So it exists as a 5-day workshop, it exists as a 2-day workshop, and we recently launched a 1.5-hour summarized version of it, which we're actually just about to deliver online on October 24th.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think this might be the end of the interview. So, well, thank you very much for taking the time for this interview, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you so much, Melina. It was such a pleasure.